Hello. In my first video on the flat earth that I just put up a couple days ago, I talked about how excited I was to find this truth. I said it was the most thrilling thing that had happened to me since I discovered that Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior almost 40 years ago. And it is. It's amazing. I stay awake at night just thinking about it. I've spent hours and hours now looking into this. I've bought a couple books, reading those books, and everything continues to confirm that we do, in fact, live on a flat earth. And I pondered, why is that so important? One of the things that really struck me as I watched people talk about the flat earth is that several people have testified that they did not believe in God until they understood that the earth was flat. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. And I considered, why is that? And I think I have discovered why that is. The reason is because it's truth. It's true. And a lot of these people who now have discovered this truth were searching for truth. They were discovering that our government lies to us. They were discovering that most of what we hear on the news is a lie. When you first begin to see that, when you first wake up to the totality of the lies that are told to us, it's startling. But then when you find out that we live on a flat earth and that the powers that be lied to us from our cradle, and they've been lying for hundreds of years, that's startling. That's amazing. But why do people suddenly come to believe that there's a God? Psalm 89 says that the throne of God is founded upon righteousness and justice. I've studied these concepts for almost 40 years and have discovered that righteousness describes the character of God and justice describes how we should implement the character of God on earth. We should act in justice towards our neighbor, and that's simply putting the righteousness of God into effect. Ephesians chapter 6, when it discusses the spiritual armor of God, begins with two pieces. First is the girdle of truth. Second is the breastplate of righteousness. Now those are the very same things that the Psalms say found the foundation of God's throne. Righteousness, the Bible teaches, equates to mercy, loving kindness. Truth equates to justice. And we see that righteousness and justice, or righteousness and truth, really are two sides of the same coin. We understand that those two things will enable us then to live the life that God would have us live, that our Father in heaven would have us live. Just before I discovered the truth of the flat earth, the Spirit of God led me to listen to hours of interviews with people who claimed that they had either traveled with aliens or that they channeled aliens, or aliens had revealed themselves to them and told them certain things. Many people talked about there being good aliens and bad aliens, that the bad aliens were the ones behind all of the destruction that we now see in our earth, that they were the ones really leading the powers that be to do all of the harmful programs that are destroying our earth and that are enslaving mankind. And then they claimed that the good aliens had revealed themselves to them and that they were soon going to do things to awaken the world and to help mankind overcome these evil aliens. Some go so far as to say that it were aliens that created man Many people are talking about disclosure, a soon coming disclosure where the powers that be will disclose that there are aliens and that the UFOs we've always heard about are real. One of the things that struck me, though, in all of these interviews is that there's very little, if any, reference to righteousness. In other words, people are still free to choose whatever they want to do. And it could be almost anything as long as it's not cannibalism or pedophilia. But other than that, if you choose to do it, well, that's just your free will. You can do it. But that's not the way God created men. He created us with a conscience. We know right and wrong. You know right and wrong. You know that when you lie to someone, when you steal from someone, when you hurt someone with your slander, that you've done wrong. There's many other things that we do that we know are wrong. And we feel it when we do it. The Bible is all about learning to walk in the character of God. And the first thing we have to come to, we have to understand when we're going to walk in the character of God, is that there is truth, that truth does exist. And that's why this is so powerful. That's why this is so important. That's why people who find out about the flat earth, even when they don't believe in God, suddenly do believe in God, but because they say, oh my goodness, if the powers that be and the spirits behind them deceived me about the very nature of the earth I live on, then God must exist. There must be some reason for that deception. Yes, there is. Satan turns truth upon its head. Satan is the father of lies. He's been a liar from the beginning. He's lied to mankind from the beginning. He has been trying to create the world in his image, not God's image. And so when we understand truth, that there is truth, then we become able to understand God's righteousness. When we understand God's righteousness, then we will be able to understand justice. Righteousness, think of righteousness as a plumb line, the plumb line between God and man. Think of justice as the measuring line between man and man. Justice is simply carrying out the righteousness of God from one person to another. As we learn more about truth, we will learn more about God, and we will learn more about righteousness. Remember, the foundation of God's throne is righteousness and justice. In Psalm 89, it says, right after it says that, it says, mercy and truth have kissed. Mercy corresponds to righteousness. Truth corresponds to justice. In Jesus, in our Father in heaven, mercy and truth have kissed. Now that we are beginning to understand the truth, let us also walk in the righteousness and the mercy of God. Grace and peace be with you.